everyone, my name is Kate. Welcome back to my channel. We're gonna get right into it today. I'm so excited to show you guys these. As you can tell from the title of this video, I'm gonna be showing you all of the craziest, coolest, awesome, best travel photos I've ever taken in my life. And then I am going to share what camera I used for all of these, what my setup was, and yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna have my phone here so that I can kind of scroll through. Hopefully I'll be able to match up what I'm talking about to what I show you on the screen. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do it by place. So I'm gonna start out with one place, show you all the photos from that, and then do the next and the next and the next. I was just gonna put them on the screen here. Would that be better? Should I move over? I'll move over. It's hot in here again. Why? I guess I'll put them over here. If they're too big to fit in the space next to me, I'll just put them on the whole screen. So my first place that I have travel photos from is the Dominican Republic. Amazing, beautiful, incredible place. This was really my first experience doing travel photography because this was the first kind of big trip I went on that I had my camera with me for. First photo I'm going to show you, which is from the place that we stayed in the Dominican Republic, but it was gorgeous. It had flamingos all over the place and it had these beautiful statues in the lawn, and I took a photo of one of the statues because I just loved the way that it looked and I thought it was so unique and interesting and cool, and I love the palm tree coming up kind of out of his head. So this statue is a depiction of the Taino Semi. I hope I said that correctly. And the Taino people were the indigenous inhabitants of the Caribbean, including the island of the Dominican Republic, and they were the indigenous people there when the Europeans arrived. And I wanted to look up the significance of it because I just think it's beautiful and I was very interested to learn, and I figured I would share it with you because why not? So the term Semi refers to both a deity or ancestral spirit and the physical object or sculpture that houses the spirit. These figures were central to Taino religious and social life, served as conduits to the spiritual realm, allowing the Taino to communicate with the gods and ancestors to seek guidance, healing, or protection. For ritual use, many of these sculptures, particularly those featuring a platform or bowl on their head, were used as stands for cohoba. Cohoba was a sacred hallucinogenic powder inhaled by spiritual leaders, and it was used during rituals to induce a trance state, enabling them to interact with the supernatural world. Physical appearance of these statues often reflects the effects of these rituals. The emaciated bodies, wide, alert eyes, or grimacing expressions are believed to depict the physical state of the ritual participants who had been fasting or under the influence of the hallucinogen, symbolizing the spiritual depth and complex societal structures of the Taino civilization. That is really cool. I love learning things when I travel. I love asking questions. I love understanding the culture that I'm visiting and experiencing. That was a long first photo, but I think it was important and a really cool one to start out with. We're gonna get into a couple other ones. So I have a lot of portrait photography from this trip. I don't want to disrespect their privacy by putting their faces on the internet, so I will probably refrain from putting any portrait photography on here. Just know that I have beautiful, incredible photos and portraits of people in the Dominican Republic that I asked them to take. They're so beautiful and their smiling faces are just... There's a little boy and an older man with his dogs and a beautiful woman standing by the market where they were selling clothes and things like that. So you get the alt text on those images. The next one I'll show you is probably my favorite two set of photos. Amazing sweet donkey. He's so cute. So this was on the beaches of Saona Island in the Dominican Republic, and they were just donkeys free roaming. It was so cool. This beautiful guy had a hurt foot, so he was just kind of limping around, and you can't really see it in this photo because I think he's got it buried in the sand, eating a pineapple, and he was really going to town on that thing. He loved his pineapple. And he's so cute. If you look really closely, he's got his little tongue out. And then the other photo is hilarious to me. It's just like he was playing to the camera or something, but yeah, he was peeking out behind the tree and he was making a bunch of noise, and it just looks like he's smiling at the camera, so I love that photo. The next photo is of this beautiful dog, and this is the man that I mentioned earlier that I'm not going to show his face, but he had a bunch of puppies. This beautiful dog. He had the sweetest face. I just love the little bird at the bottom too. Everything has so much color in the Dominican Republic. It's beautiful. I think it's a lost art here in the United States, absolutely. Just don't use color anymore. It's really sad. But this place was absolutely beautiful. Just felt alive. Perfect example of them using color to its fullest extent is this photo that I captured of a home on Saona Island. It's got beautiful primary color accents and it has the palm trees and, you know, wildlife life surrounding it, so I love this photo and the composition of it. That's one of my favorites. And the next photo is of a little walkway on the island, just so beautiful and full of color everywhere. So yeah, that's another one that I really loved. And this next photo is of, I believe that they use this boat to sell goods and items occasionally. I don't think it was obviously open this time when I was taking this photo, but I just love the framing of this and the flowers surrounding it, and how you can kind of peek through and see the boat. My photography style, I love the peek through shots where there's kind of stuff in the foreground that's blurred out, but then you shoot through and you see the subject in full focus. So this is a good example of that style. Okay. So I think I saved this last night in the midst of saving all of the photos I was going to show you. I don't even think I took it. I can't take credit for this. Look at him standing up. Hey, look at this dude. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so the next 3 photos I wanted to show you are from Hawaii. I don't know why I don't have that many photos from this trip. 2 of them are of a rooster. There's this one, which I think is just beautiful. The lighting in the background, I love so much. But this was actually in the town of Lahaina before the fires. I think we were there maybe 2 weeks before the fires happened. I'm not sure. So that's really scary and really, really sad. But yeah, that's where these photos are. And then here is the other photo of the rooster where he's really in focus there, just kind of posing. I'm really sad that I don't have photos of the actual town. That was one of my favorite places in the world. The only other photo I have of there is of the rocks and the water kind of hitting them when you kind of peer over the fence? Beach fence, oceanside fence. When you would lean over that and you could see the water below, this is what I was seeing, and I was kind of testing out with my camera how to do this like fluid water effect that you can see there. So that was the first photo I ever took like that, which is really cool. But yeah, those are the only photos I have from Hawaii, which is kind of a bummer. Beautiful Lahaina, I loved it so much, and sending all my love to that place. The people there are strong, very, very strong. Okay, so the next place that I have is very exciting. I have the most photos from this trip. You guys have probably seen my video from this trip on my YouTube channel. If you haven't, go watch it. I made that like 4 years ago, I think now, which is crazy. Was to Iceland. This was my first ever solo trip. It will definitely not be the last. This first photo is in downtown Reykjavik, which is the capital. And I just thought this was a beautiful statue. It was outside a Thai restaurant, I believe, like a Thai welcome statue. She's called the, let me see what it was called, the Sawasti lady, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. The significance of it is rooted in Thai hospitality. While these statues are iconic in Thailand, they have become popular worldwide in Iceland as decorative art for spas, massage studios, and restaurants. So yes, this is the beautiful Sawasti lady. I loved her. I have 2 different shots of her, one more close up, one more far away, so you can see the flowers at her feet. But yeah, she's gorgeous, and I loved this photo. The next one is crazy. This was insane to see. There's something so like weirdly humbling about a giant mountain range. It makes you feel very small, and they've got a lot of those in Iceland. And so just seeing the gravity of the landscape behind these small houses and structures here that are also brightly colored and contrast each other like this is just so beautiful to me. I loved this shot. The Airbnb I stayed in was right down the street from this. This is the Airbnb I stayed in, so it's that same red color. I got to meet the family that owned the house, and that was just really cool. I stayed there one night because when I went to Iceland, I did the Ring Road, I believe is what it was called. So I went south and just stopped as I went along and then drove back. And then this was their beautiful tractor that they had outside of their home. And then you could see, I believe, the same farm that I was photographing earlier in the background. So that's really cool. So yeah, that was my first stop. And then I kept driving and I ended up at the Skogafoss waterfall. I didn't honestly do too much research on it before I got there and didn't realize that you could hike up the side of it and see the river that leads down to it. So I did that. And all of these photos are from up there. So first we've got this amazing photo where you can see all of the little sheep. I actually think those are rams. Wait, I actually can't. I need my glasses. I believe they're sheep, but I don't want to say the wrong thing because I think they've got horns. Can sheep have horns? I feel uneducated. Okay. Can sheep have horns? Let's look up an Icelandic sheep. It's a sheep. It's a sheep. They're sheep. They can have horns. I didn't know that. And then I have a close-up shot of one of them. It's so cute. I just love the way that the light was hitting the grass. And now we get to what I was talking about where I hiked up next to the waterfall and could see the river. So this is one of those shots. Obviously another mountain in the back there. They've just got such a beautiful landscape there. It's unreal. But yeah, this is another photo, a vertical version. This is actually a mini waterfall within the river that leads to the giant waterfall at the end. And I love this photo because when you zoom in to the back, you can see snow on the mountaintop back there. Just beautiful. And this is another angle. I think I literally just turned around 180 and took it the other way. So pretty, man. And then the waterfall itself, I have a couple great photos of. So this is one I got, and there's rainbows everywhere. It's beautiful. The water, the light is reflecting all over the place. There's constantly a rainbow. And so I got the double here, ginormous waterfall in the back. It's so much bigger than it looks in this photo. I actually went and stood underneath. It was insane. Another photo of kind of the water trailing off from the waterfall, and there was a rainbow there, and just the beautiful, whimsical rocks that surrounded it. I just wanted to capture the texture of this because it just looks like so magical and just covered by, I think those are flowers. I have no idea, but the color is insane. And then I feel so bad because I never got to send this person this photo. And honestly, I don't even think I realized I did take it because it was so bright. And I don't know if I actually really saw anyone standing there until I went to edit the photos later, but she was wearing the perfect colors. It's so cool. I wish I could send this to her. If you were in Iceland in September of 2021 and this looks like you, let me know, girl. I'll send it to you. I have so many photos of strangers. I don't want that to sound weird. I just think people are so cool, and I love when they are just experiencing stuff, and I can, you know, it's not weird. What do we have next, actually, from this trip? This one's pretty cool. I forgot what this was called. This was in... Oh, I forgot. Let me look this up for you and let you know where this is because I'm also curious. I just forgot. It's been years, okay? Yes. Okay. Okay, it's pronounced Deer Hole. Deer Hole, roughly rhyming with Here, Go Play. Thanks, Google. The name roughly translates to Door Hole Island. Makes a lot of sense. It was so unbelievably windy up there. Oh my God, I thought that I was going to fall over. Yeah, the wind in Iceland is no joke. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that these following images are in the same place. You just turn around and this is where you're at. This is usually a place where you can see puffins, those really cute birds, but I was not in Iceland during the season where they were out, and so I didn't get to see any puffins. I saw some other birds though. There's something beautifully haunting about Iceland. I feel like this picture captures it pretty well. There's others I'll show you that also capture it really well, but it's just like the vastness of it, depth of it, the height of so many things that you see. It just makes you feel like, my God, I'm very insignificant. And obviously you have to be very careful to not get blown off a cliff by the wind, so that's also a factor. Beautiful place, my God. And there were just sheep up there. They're so cute, and they just kind of look at you, and it feels like you're just kind of communicating with them, and then they all turned to me and just kind of stared at me in this photo, which was really cool, and they just look so cute with their sweet faces. The one on the right just looks like he's like posing. What a place to live if you're a sheep. There's this beautiful lighthouse. It has a bright orange top, like a white castle-like structure on the bottom. That's where I was kind of walking around and getting whipped by the wind and stuff. But you can see it in this next image, and I think it's so beautiful because the stranger I photographed is wearing a bright orange jacket that perfectly matches the top of the lighthouse. Incredible. I'm like, what the heck? I actually think there's 3 people in this photo. There's 2 people wearing an orange jacket, a man wearing an orange hat, and then, oh, wow. There's something so magical about this photo and so peaceful about it and so powerful about it. Okay, next we're gonna go to the Glacier Lagoons and Diamond Beach, which is called Diamond Beach because there are pieces of ice there that just sit in the sand and they don't melt because it's so cold. So they look like just little diamonds sitting on the black sand. It's really, really cool. I'll show you. So first I'll show you some photos of the Glacier Lagoon. This is one where there was a rainbow peeking out from behind a mountain in the back, which I thought was beautiful. And then this next one is like the full scope of this particular Glacier Lagoon. This is different from the one that's closest to Diamond Beach. This is another glacier lagoon kind of along the drive. Now we're at Diamond Beach. These photos are so cool. This is a prime example of why they just kind of look like diamonds sitting in the sand. They stand out so clearly on the black sand. It's just an incredible looking beach. Then this is another one which just looked like a sculpture, and it was just kind of hit by the water in so many different ways that it just kind of turned it into this almost wave itself. It's so beautiful. So I took a couple of this one because I thought it was so cool. So you'll see all the photos of that. And then this is a picture of me holding a diamond at Diamond Beach. It feels like when you're driving in Iceland that you just skip from planet to planet. There's this area next to Diamond Beach where I kind of walked up and I saw another hiker walking across, so I was like, oh, what is he doing? And you can't really tell what you're looking at until you walk up this little hill, and then once you top the hill, you get this photo. I was like, oh my God. And this is another one of those photos that kind of plays into how beautifully haunting it is. Cause this is just kind of like, woo, kind of eerie a little bit, but it just looks like something out of a film, something out of like a dragon movie. It's just insane. They did film Game of Thrones there, didn't they? Well, they chose a good place. And then there's me. I took a solo shot in front of this mountain range, and I can do another video on how I shot photos of myself, videos of myself when I was by myself in Iceland. And then here's another photo. I think my exposure was way down on this and the clouds above it as well. I'm like, what the heck? Woo. And you can't really tell how vast and big it is, but when you zoom in, you can see the tiny power lines in kind of the right bottom corner of this photo. And then you're like, that makes my stomach drop a little bit. I think I have a fear of like big things. I don't know what, like that makes me woof. So yeah, it wasn't actually that dark. That was just my camera and the way I edited it. Otherwise I would have been freaking out. And that brings us to the final Iceland photo. My favorite photo I've ever taken in my life. I really think I captured the other planet, otherworldly vibe. And the crazy thing about this is my exposure was so low, I had no idea what I had just shot. But remember the hiker I was talking about earlier that made me want to like go up to the top of the hill? This photo is of this hiker at the top of the hill when I was still on the bottom of it. And I saw this hiker up there and I was like, oh, that would be a really cool photo. I hope I capture something. And I took the photo. I didn't know if I got it. And when I went home to edit and I brought the exposure up on this, I was like, it is this photo. It's so cool. I love the framing of it. I love the colors of it. I love that there's a subject in the middle of it. And as you can see, it's been behind me this whole time. That's the photo, and this is the photo. That looks like another planet to me. I'm so glad I captured this one. So that brings us to the end of the Iceland photos, but now we have photos from Italy. I love Italy. My friends and I went to the Amalfi Coast and we went to Pompeii. We did all of that really cool stuff, and so let's get into it. Not nearly as many as Iceland, but I've got some good ones, so hang tight. So we'll actually start with Pompeii because I think that was one of the coolest places I've ever been to. It was just really cool to be standing within this preserved civilization. I didn't take any photos within Pompeii that were on my actual camera, but I did take some when we got to the top of Pompeii. There was this area where you could kind of look out over it, and it's just crazy to imagine that it was once covered by ash and land and stuff like that, and they eventually uncovered it all. So this is a photo from our view of what we were seeing. I just kind of liked the buildings peeking out in the back, and you could see some of the structure of Pompeii in the lower half of the image. Italy also has beautiful mountain ranges. This next photo is a vertical version. You could actually see people in the bottom half of this image in Pompeii. The buildings are numbered so that the guides can tell you about each location and what it used to be. And then this next photo is a beautiful little cat that we saw, and it's gorgeous. I love its eyes and just the fact that it's staring straight at me. It was so sweet. I loved that cat. The next photos are from Sorrento, Italy, which is where our home base was while we stayed there. And we just took the train and bus to other locations. But this is one of the first ones. I love the colors in this photo. I love the way that this building is structured. I love the hotel name on the building. I just love this image. I think it's really cool. The next one is a more zoomed out version of that. You can see what's kind of above that building that I was taking the photo of, which is really cool. This next one I love because of the color contrast between the sky and the building. This building is beautiful. That's what I'm saying, like everywhere has so much color except here. I swear. These next series of photos are going to be from Amalfi, the town itself. We took the bus here, and the bus ride was the bus ride had me fearing for my life. That Italian bus driver had no fear in his body. He was just curving along those roads. When you're driving to Amalfi, you're on a cliffside. And so when you're driving into the town, you're on the right side, right next to the cliff in this giant tall bus. And it's just a little scary, but it was fine. This is awesome. I love this photo. I love Vespas. I have a really strong attachment to the idea of a Vespa. I don't think I'll ever own one because I think I would probably run into a tree with it. I love Vespas. I think they're so cute and so romantic and so beautiful. And so I took this photo of the Vespa. This next photo, oh, I love this. This is another example of the framing I kind of like to do. And I love this image. I think it's beautiful. And it really represented kind of what the town looks like. And so much color. So much color. And then look at this. Look at this photo. Unreal. Are you kidding me? Traveling is such a gift. It's such an amazing gift. I love it. I will never take it for granted. I'm so like, what do you mean I saw this with my eyes and now have a photo? Next is a beautiful photo from when we were towards the bottom of the hill in this town like I was just talking about. And I shot up because the sun was kind of going behind the mountains here. And so I shot up into the buildings and stuff like that. And I love the sun kind of peeking over these trees here. And then our final photo, I didn't even realize we were at the end. It's an interesting perspective. It's me shooting up at a house and it was pink and I loved it so much. And so I shot a photo of this house from where I was at below. I just feel very jealous of the person that lives in this home. What do you mean they have a pink house in Italy? I like to look at this sometimes as inspiration. Travel just does something to you. It just makes your mind expand in ways that you can't do any way else. And I just feel so lucky and grateful that these photos even exist on my phone and I had the opportunity to take them. I just can't even describe it. I need to get back out there. I need to get back out there so bad. Oh, I was gonna tell you what camera I use. Duh, sorry. I feel bad for the people who have waited through this whole video to figure out what camera I use. You guys probably forgot by this point because I did, sorry. But if you're still here or if you've skipped through my video to see what camera I use, no problem. I will tell you. So this is, she's a bit heavy. So this is her. It's the Canon 5D Mark IV. This is my baby, my child, my pride and joy. She's been with me since I graduated college. So I've had her for 5 years now. I love this camera. I don't really see a need to upgrade her at any point because it's also expensive. But yeah, I use the Canon 24 to 70 millimeter lens. I just think it's a super versatile lens, especially when you're traveling. It's not too bulky and too heavy to take with you. It's still, you know, a portable setup when you're traveling, so it's not too bad. And I love her so much. The Canon Color Science is my favorite. I just love it for my photos and my photography style. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of the photos that I've taken on my trips. I'm pretty sure that a long time ago, I put my photos on a website where you can purchase them. I don't want to tell you to do that, but if you really liked some of the photos that you saw and you would like to purchase them, I will try and link it in the description for you to go look at. And I think it's on a website where you can print them on so many different things, like mugs and shirts and all that stuff. So if that's what you're into, go for it. But you could also just order the prints if you want. But yeah, I can't wait to get back out there. I can't wait to shoot more trips and take more photos. Go ahead and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.